At the end of the 2020 NFL season, everyone and their grandma knew that the Jets were going to make major changes this offseason, and that is exactly what they have done. They have hired a new head coach. They brought in 7 players during free agency and franchise tagged one of their own. They traded former number 3 overall pick, seemingly franchise quarterback Sam Darnold, and they have 10 draft picks, including 2 firsts, heading into the 2020 draft. And I truly believe with the moves that have already been made and the moves that are going to be made during the draft, that this is the turning point for the Jets franchise. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with the first thing they had to do this offseason, and that is hiring new head coach, former 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. It was obvious Adam Gase was gone. We knew it since like week 2 of the 2020 season. We knew Gase was gone. We knew Gase was a bum. So where do they go from there? They bring in a coach that all of his former players in San Francisco absolutely loved, and they bring in a coach that was a major part of the 49ers Super Bowl run because that defense was absolutely dominant. That hire was an A-plus hire. In my opinion, they got the best head coach candidate during this whole head coaching hiring frenzy that happens every January. In my opinion, they got the best one. Going from Adam Gase to Robert Saleh is night and day. Saleh is going to bring both, obviously, a fantastic defensive scheme that will help revolutionize the New York Jets defense, and he'll also bring something that players want to play for that cannot be understated. Players will want to play in New York because of Robert Saleh. No one wants to play for the Jets. Now defensive players might, because we've heard that people love the guy. So, boom, now players are more intrigued to go to New York, and that's something that cannot be understated. And I think we saw that during free agency, especially with one specific player. So I am going to transition into free agency. What did Robert Saleh in his first year as head coach do with Joe Douglas? Because they had a bunch of cap space. What have they done? Let's stick with the defensive side of the ball. The major signing that they made was bringing in Bengals edge rusher Carl Lawson to the Jets, signing him to a 3-year, $45 million deal. If you cannot do basic math, that is $15 million per year. He is a very highly paid edge rusher, and it's a very underrated signing because Carl Lawson is a very underrated player. He was playing in Cincinnati, so boom. No wonder no one knew him. Now he's playing in New York with a big market team, with a bigger fan base. I do think Carl Lawson will get the shine that he deserves. And that defensive side of the ball, Carl Lawson and Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams is also very underrated because he was playing for the Jets, and the Jets fucking suck. So having both Quinnen Williams and Carl Lawson definitely puts pressure on that quarterback immediately. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, something that they still haven't gotten done that I really think they need to get done is they need to sign safety Marcus May long term. They had both Jamal Adams and Marcus May. They obviously traded Jamal Adams. They honestly got a great deal for it. They got 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years. That's a fantastic deal. But you already lost one of the best safeties in the league in Jamal Adams. You cannot lose Marcus May, another very underrated safety, in back-to-back off seasons. You need to keep one of those two, and one of them is long gone. You need to keep Marcus May. I love the fact that they franchise tagged him because it means he's not going to walk, but you need to sign this guy long term, especially in a Robert Saleh defense. You need to stick with your guys and then build from there. You cannot lose guys this quickly if you want to be successful. You got to bring in guys to complement Marcus May, Quinnen Williams. Hopefully CJ Mosley can stay healthy. Those are the 3 guys that you need to build around, and they already started doing that with Carl Lawson. Then I do expect them to continue doing that during the draft. Just some more free agency pickups that they did make. They did sign linebacker Gerard Davis. Nothing really special there. Cornerback LaMarcus Joyner. D lineman Sheldon Rankins. Those are just some other defensive depth moves that they made that I personally like. Like those three guys, they aren't bums. They're good depth moves. It can be involved with the secondary and defensive line and linebacker rotations. Three solid moves in my opinion. Let's transition over to the offense though, because a major move happened 2 days ago that I already made a video about from one team's perspective. Now let's talk about it from the Jets' perspective. A quick plug though, if you do not know what I'm talking about, I'm obviously going to be talking about the Sam Darnold trade, and I made a video talking about it from the Panthers' perspective yesterday, and it's doing really well views-wise, so if you want to watch that, just check it out. But yeah, now let's talk about the trade from the Jets' point of view. What did the Jets get, and where do they go from here? So, the Jets got a second, fourth, and a sixth. A really good deal for Sam Darnold. They got a great package. The Jets will have 2 firsts and 2 seconds during next year's draft. That cannot be understated. The Jets got a really good deal. The Panthers got a really good deal. I already went through that. Let's talk about where did the Jets go from here, because during free agency, they already picked up Corey Davis to a pretty big contract. They picked up running back Tevin Coleman to be a depth guy, and they picked up tight end Tyler Kroft, from the Bills. So I do think the Jets did make really good acquisitions during free agency. Now, where do they go during the draft, considering they have the number 2 and number 23 pick? Where do they go? They're obviously going quarterback with number 2. Very, very obviously. You do not trade Sam Darnold if you're not picking a quarterback. James Morgan is not going to be your franchise guy. So do they go Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? I'm more of a Zach Wilson guy, but I wouldn't really fault them for going Justin Fields because after his pro day, he looked fucking good. So I do think that regardless, you're getting a win-win guy, but I do think you should go Zach Wilson. But at the end of the day, what the fuck do I know? So yeah, I do think Zach Wilson is the guy at number 2. His pro day was immaculate. But where do they go from here? They have 22. Do they stick with the offense or do they go defense? Because that Jets secondary, definitely needs help. It desperately needs help. And the fact that Marcus May might leave is very concerning. So with the 23rd pick, I would not blame them for going one of the top 3 corners. I don't think Surtain will be there. J.C. Horn might be there, and Caleb Farley has been falling for a bunch of people's mock drafts. So Caleb Farley from Tech might be there. The back injury stuff is concerning. But I do think picking a cornerback at 23 would be a fantastic move. That secondary needs help. And also Richard Sherman did say that he does plan on waiting till after the draft to sign with the team. Let's just say they pick a cornerback. Now you got that cornerback and Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman just finished playing for Robert Saleh and apparently loved him. Bada bing, bada boom. You just got 2 corners just like that. I would not blame them one bit for going there, but another direction I could see them going, helping out the offense. They do still need help there. Going running back at 23 is a bit sketchy, but I think it would be a great move. I don't think they go offensive line, especially tackle, because they have Mekhi Becton, who is an absolute stud. I'm surprised I haven't mentioned his name yet. He is a beast down there, so I do really like Mekhi Becton. I do think going Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, preferably Travis Etienne, would be a great move because, Zach Wilson, bringing in a quarterback without a running game is sketchy because let's just say Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, kind of fucking sucks the first half of the season. Let's just say he comes into the league and he's not playing well. He needs a rushing game to rely on. That's the same thing with all young QBs. Having a rushing game to rely on is massive for winning because you're not relying on this rookie quarterback to do absolutely everything. You cannot do that. So I do think bringing in a Travis Etienne, a Najee Harris, maybe you pick a guy during the second round because they have a very early second round pick. I do think with one of those 2 picks, you pick a running back, that would be a great move. So with the 23 and I guess 34, Oh yeah, with 23 and 34, if they can pick cornerback and running back, you got your franchise QB, or I guess hopefully you got your franchise QB. You have a rushing game, and you bring in a cornerback to help the Robert Salah defense. That would be a fantastic way to use your first three picks. What they do with the rest of the draft picks, just continue to get depth across the board. I would not blame them for going receiver, even though I think their big three receivers, it's not bad, it's not great, but I do like Corey Davis, I do like Jamison Crowder, and they did draft Denzel Mims last season. So I do think giving him a role is definitely still important. So, yeah, I think the Jets, this is the turning point. I truly believe that this is the turning point for the Jets. They already have pieces in place. They have Mekhi Becton. They have Quinnen Williams. Then during the then and then during the free agency period, they brought in Corey Davis. They brought in Carl Lawson. They still need to handle the Marcus May situation. They still got to handle that. And they hired my favorite head coaching candidate from this whole coaching frenzy thing, in Robert Salah. And they have 10 draft picks to work with this year, and they have 2 first and 2 seconds during next year's draft. I think this is the turning point for the New York Jets. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more of the videos. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this thing and have a good day.